Hi, I'm Luis, and I am the Director of Marketing of DistantJob, and I am the Editor-in-Chief of the DistantJob blog.
Welcome to another episode of our Remote Leaders section. Today we're going to talk about great skills in a remote employee and how to find them. When someone works at an office, there are a set of habits and routines that prepare them for their day, such as commuting, getting to the office, saying hi to their coworkers. For a remote employee, that's different. When working remotely, employees establish their own schedules according to what their managers need, balanced with what makes them the most productive.
Main skills that I look for in a remote employee is their ability to self-manage and be independent. So I want people who are able to take to take on a mission and solve that mission as independently as possible. And why is this particularly crucial is because when working remotely, people have flexibility. Some people work in different time zones, but even people working in the same time zone, working remotely, they tend to organize their workday to the way that's more productive. And that's not necessarily when I'm available, right? I am not necessarily available at all times that other people are working. So that means that they can't always rely on me to direct them every step of the way. They need to get back to me on decision.
So, it's important to hire remote employees who are independent and self-starters. But how do I find a person like that when I'm hiring, you may ask?
I look for projects that they have done when I am hiring. I always try to ask them what work were they proud of and what are some personal projects that they developed. And then I try to figure out how involved they were in that project. If someone, does something personal and does them mostly like 80% by themselves, then I know that I usually have a winner.
Communication is fundamental for remote teams. And even with the rise of video conferencing tools, the reality is that most communication will happen in written form. So another skill that remote employees need to have is great written communication.
Written communication is a must because even though a lot happens in the spoken communication, that needs to be good, most communication remotely still happens written. Not necessarily only through Slack, but even when you write tasks in a software like Basecamp or Trello or Asana, things need to be clearly written in a way that anyone reading them will understand, given the minimum of context. Because usually, again, when you're working remotely, there is less context. So good writing skills is key for a good remote employee.
Employees need to be remote ready. That means having the ability to create their own working space and make things happen mostly by themselves. But it also means being able to have a work-life balance that allows them to be productive at work and enjoy their personal lives as well, without one thing interfering with the other.
Capacity for organization is one of the skills that I value highly in a remote employee. If a person doesn't come with me with a clear idea of what their work from home schedule will look like, I usually pass on that person. Because if the time to do your work is whenever it feels like, or whenever it is convenient, whenever I can fit it, in between everything that my pets and kids ask of me, then the work will never be done, right? I need someone working remotely. I need them to say, I get up, I have this and this and this personal project, and at these hours I start working. I work until that hour. I usually, and then I have this time where I like to do meetings, and then I have this time where I like to do customer research or whatever. That's what I like to hear. I want people to come with me with a plan. I don't want people to expect me to have a plan for them. I can help them optimize and build their plan, but in reality, I cannot completely educate someone who is completely clueless about working from home.
Those are some of the skills that I look for in a remote employee. Stay tuned for more advice on building and leading remote teams. And if you like this video, don't forget to leave us your comments, like, and subscribe to our channel.